This is Brent Allan Winters, commonlawyer.com, www.commonlawyer.com. Coming at you from the remote hinterlands of the Wabash River Valley, where the hogs, the frogs, and the dogs keep up a racket all night long. This is a Common Lawyer comments concerning our common law, our law of the land, as it is compared and contrasted with its ever-present antagonist on every continent. And in every age, the law of the city, the law of the land, our common law, versus the law of the city, the civil law. Spells the history of the adversity among mankind, every war, every conflict, every fight is over provisions of those two traditions of religion, law, and government. The law of the city, the law of the land. Don't think it's an accident that our country is divided geographically about 80-20. 80-20. The 80 is flyover America, the rural areas of America, and the 20 is the metropolitan areas. The metropolitan areas vote one way, and you can see this, can't you? And the rural areas vote the other way, 80%. In round terms, the last few presidential elections, 80% of the territorial land, the geography of America has gone for the conservative presidential candidate, and the 20% has gone to the left-wing wacko. That brings up a point of etymology. Etymology. You say, well, that sounds like insectology. No, it's not insectology. All these big words. I know you're impressed with my big words. I know a bunch of them. Hippopotamus. Now, that's a big one. Incontrovertible. Have you heard that one? I said that one time, and the guy said, I know what that means. I said, well, what does it mean? Incontrovertible means when you got a convertible with one of those tops that come down, and if the top won't go down, it is an incontrovertible convertible. Isn't that right? I said, well, that makes good sense, just breaking the words down. I didn't understand it that way, but, well, forgot what big word I was talking about. Oh, etymology. Oh, the word amen. Amen, the left and the right. What does amen mean? Amen is a Hebrew word. It's in the Bible. It appears in the Hebrew Old Testament the first time, Genesis chapter 15, verse 6, and it appears in the verb form there. You know, amen is yes, it appears in the verb form there in a very intense way. It says, Abraham believed God, and it was counted to him for righteousness. There's the gospel right there. There's more freighted by that passage, but just fundamentally, that's the gospel. Salvation comes by trusting Jesus Christ, Yahuwah of the Old Testament. But it says Abraham believed. That word believed, translated believed, is the word amen. Amen. And it's in the verb form in the imperfect Hebrew stem, causative stem. Waheh amen. Waheh amen. Third person singular. Waheh amen. Wah is and. Waheh amen. Well, what does it mean? Well, it means that Abraham heard what God said, and he said, amen. That's really what it means. He amened God. How do you amen God? You go, amen, I agree. That's a firm worm. Truer words have never been spoken. Rock solid. But the word amen, it communicates agreement, but more than that. Oh, much more. It's from the word yamin. Yamin. What does yamin mean in Hebrew? It means right hand. More than that, it means strong right hand. Your right hand, traditionally, with most people, is the strong one. The left hand, with most people, not all, is the less dexterous hand if you're right-handed. The left hand was seen as the lucky hand in the ancient world of the Bible. But the right hand was yamin. That's the word amen. Amen talks about the right. See this distinction between the right and the left is ancient, lost. Looking back, lost in the fog of antiquity, where did it come from? Well, it came from God himself, going back as far as Abraham, we know. But it means the strong right hand, Yamin. I met a girl one time. Her father had married an American over in Sandland, over in Weird Beard Land, and where the Islamic people live, because we had a lot of oil production around there, and some of the major companies were in there, and they had oil production over on the other side of the world. Well, somehow this woman met this man, and his last name, he was some kind of an Arab. And his last name was Yamin. And her last name was Yamin. We used to kid her and say, she'd say something, we'd say, who do you mean? Or what do you mean? Yamin. We didn't know what it meant. Well, we know now. I know, I should say. It means right hand. Here's a good one that makes the point. Benjamin. Benjamin is Ben, which means son. Yamin, bin Yamin. Benjamin means son of my right hand. Remember, that was the youngest son of Yaakov, Jacob, father of the Israelite nation. Amen. Well, when we say amen, we're speaking of strength. We're speaking of the right hand. We're saying that's right. We're saying I agree. And we end our prayer, we say amen. I agree. That's right. That's a firm worm. That's the strength. That's the strong hand. You're playing your strong hand. Well, we're talking about accusation and the power of accusation. And we said that the left has created racism because they make money out of it. All the great leaders of the Democrat Party want to give more money in welfare because they get their cut, and their political power grows. They hire more people to administer the welfare programs. All of the agricultural stations and the offices in every county in America put there by Roosevelt, FDR, for the purpose, not of agriculture, for the purpose of distributing welfare stamps, food stamps. A federal presence in every county. Food stamps increased government power, increased Democrat power. Well, the poor people are a gold mine. It's terrible to prostitute poor people that way, but that's what the left has done for decades. The Bible gives us no leave to do that, but that's what they've done. And then they accuse us of being racist. The devil is called the great accuser, and his children, ye are of your father, the devil, Jesus Christ said of the Pharisees, those votaries of Judaism, which is Babylonian, of course, Babylonian. Ye are of your father, the devil. Quite a statement, isn't it? Well, we don't want to be that way. We don't want to be a product of the devil. We don't want to be accusers. We'd rather be encouragers. That's what we're trying to do here. This is Brent. Brent Allan Winters, commonlawyer.com, www.commonlawyer.com, coming to you, coming at you from the remote hinterlands of the Wabash River Valley, where the hogs, the frogs, and the dogs keep up a racket all night long. Commonlawyer.com. Go to the website, take advantage of what's there. Law school classes on common law subjects. The winterized version of the Bible, popularly called, but officially called the Good Book Uncooked. We don't want to cook the book, the Bible. We want to deliver it up just the way it was delivered to us. Yours truly has translated it from the original tongues, 35,000 footnotes throughout the entire Bible and major appendices, over 200 of them, tracing salient themes throughout the warp and the woof of the text, of the context of the Bible. The comparative law text, Excellence of the Common Law, 957 pages, comparing and contrasting The only two traditions of religion, law, and government, fundamental traditions in the world, the law of the land and the law of the city. Of course, you got all different kind of things in between, but these are the only two choices you have, and all men and every individual and every nation is tending either toward the one or toward the other, to quote Abe Lincoln in his debate with Judge Douglas when they were both running for the U.S. Senate at the fairgrounds in Charleston, Illinois. He made that point. Everybody's tending toward the one or toward the other. The divine right of kings, the law of the city. As a matter of fact, Lincoln, either you work, you sweat, you earn bread, and you get to eat it. Or you work, you sweat, you earn bread, and the other fella gets to eat it. Which is it going to be? Divine right of kings versus the truth, our common law tradition, versus the law of the city. This is Brent Allan Winters, commonlawyer.com.